Unit 6. The United Nations Organization. Man has achieved much progress in all walks of life. His lifespan extended considerably. Yet, he had major problems. As science and technology developed, man developed his ways of thinking and started to use the weapons for destructive purposes rather than constructive purposes. There were major problems like war, population growth, which created the problems like periodical floods, famines, earthquakes, and also increased epidemics. In order to solve all the problems, efforts were made, and as a result of it, the United Nations Organization was established. The world received disastrous blows from the two world wars. The First World War took place between 1914 and 1918. The Second World War took place between 1939 and 1945. Both these wars resulted in the death of lakhs of people and destruction of a lot of property. The world witnessed a lot of violence. In the Second World War, there was major destruction than the First World War. In the later stages of the Second World War, America dropped 2 atom bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. With this came the knowledge of using the bombs for destructive purposes. The bombs reduced the 2 cities to ashes. The after effects of the bombs could be seen even today. At this movement, people thought of ending wars and began to search for peace. All the great men began to think in this line. International conferences were also held at this movement. In 1944, at Dumbarton Oaks, near Washington, a conference was held and the representatives of the USA, the UK, and Russia met and drafted a declaration for creating an international organization. In February 1945, the great statesmen like Roosevelt, the then President of USA, Winston Churchill, the then President of England, and Stalin, the then President of Russia, met together and held talks at Yalta and decided to establish an international organization. They also decided to convene an international conference in USA. During April to June 1945, another international conference was held at San Francisco in USA. Representatives of 51 nations signed a charter of establishing an international organization on 26th of June 1945. This organization was named as the United Nations Organization. It is also called as United Nations in short. Sri A. Ramaswamy Mudaliar signed the Charter of UN on behalf of India. The United Nations draft constitution was finally approved on 24th October 1945. Since then, October 24th is being celebrated as the UNO Day. This was how the great UNO originated. It started functioning on 24th October 1945 from New York as its headquarters. Aims and objectives of the UNO. The objectives of the UNO are as follows. 1. To work for peace and prevent wars, thereby saving the future generations and maintaining the security of every country. 2. Development of friendly relations and cooperation among the nations of the world. 3. Solving the problems of economic, social, cultural and humanitarian peacefully with the cooperation of other countries. 4. To safeguard the human rights all over the world in cooperation with its member nations. 5. To remove discriminations based on religion, race, language and sex among the peoples of the world. In order to achieve the above objectives, it has to follow some principles. 1. All the member nations are sovereign, equal and should respect the rights of other nations. 2. Disputes should be settled by peaceful means. 3. To solve the problems, they should not use the threats or force. 4. The nations should support the UNO. Human Rights Declaration was adopted by the UNO. The important rights mentioned in the Human Rights Declaration are as follows. 1. All the people have the right to live as free citizens. 2. All are equal before law. 3. All should have the right to education. 4. Everyone should have the freedom of worship. 5. There should be equal pay for equal work. 6. Discrimination basing on race, religion or sex should be avoided. 7. Everyone should have the freedom of expression. The UNO had 51 members when it was established. Now the number of member nations increased to over 192. All the countries can become the members of the UN provided that they follow the objectives and the principles mentioned in the UN Charter. The organs of the UNO. The UN was established to preserve peace and prevent wars. The UNO works with the help of 6 main organs. They are 2. The Security Council. The organs of the UNO. The Secretary. 1. The General Assembly. 2. The Security Council. 3. The Secretariat. 4. The Trusteeship Council. 5. The International Economic and Social Council. 6. The International Court of Justice. 1. The General Assembly. The member nations of the UNO are the members of the UN General Assembly. 5 representatives from each member nation are sent to the General Assembly. Every year, the Assembly elects its president. Every year, the Assembly meets in September and holds sessions for several weeks. Sometimes, it has emergency sessions to discuss the urgent matters. It discusses the various problems and suggests solutions to them. It also tries to settle international disputes in a peaceful way. Simple matters are decided by a majority vote, while important matters are decided by a 2/3 majority. Two, the Security Council. It is the executive body and hence it is the most important organ of the UN. It has 15 members, in which 5 are the permanent members. The permanent members are the USA, the UK, France, Russia, and the People's Republic of China. The other 10 members are elected once in 2 years by the members of the General Assembly. 9 out of the 15 members should vote if any resolution of the Security Council is to be passed. The permanent members can exercise the veto power, which means that if any member nation votes against the resolution, it cannot be passed. Its main objective is to maintain peace in the world. It also discusses the complaints and tries to solve them. It can also impose economic sanctions on the warring nations. 3. The Secretariat. This is the administrative body of the UN. Its main responsibility is to carry on its administrative work. Its head is the Secretary General, who is elected by the General Assembly with the recommendation of the Security Council. He is assisted by many officials. The employees working here ranges from 40,000 to 50,000. 4. The Trusteeship Council. The countries which work for world peace are the members of the Trusteeship Council. It promotes the independence of nations and helps them in their self-governing systems. It meets once in a year. 5. The International Economic and Social Council. This organ works on the economic, social, cultural, and humanitarian aspects of the member countries. It submits its report to the General Assembly. This body meets twice in a year. Its members are elected once in 3 years by the members of General Assembly. It works on promoting social and economic status to the countries, along with the cooperation in the field of education and cultural affairs. It works for the betterment of people irrespective of their caste, color, language, religion, and sex. Its motto is to see that no disparity occurs in the name of caste and religion. 6. The International Court of Justice. This body provides legal solutions to the problems arising between nations. It comprises of 15 judges. Its headquarters is in The Hague, Netherlands. All these organs work together for world peace and prosperity. United Nations, its special agencies. In addition to its organs, the UN has 4 special agencies. They are A. Food and Agriculture Organization FAO. B. United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO UNESCO. C. United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund UNICEF UNICEF. D. World Health Organization WHO WHO. A. Food and Agricultural Organization FAO. This agency was started on 16 October 1945 with Rome as its headquarters. It works on improving the output of food crops and other agricultural products. Its aims are 1. To improve the living standards of people. 2. To improve the living condition of the people of rural areas by paying special attention. 3. To improve the production of food. 4. To eradicate ill health and hunger. 5. To improve the pisciculture and forest with scientific development. B. United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO UNESCO. This agency of the UN was established on 4th November in 1946 with Paris as its headquarters. It's making efforts to bring all the nations together. It's trying to promote international cooperation in the fields of education, science, culture, and art. It's providing educational facilities to the illiterate. C. United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund UNICEF UNICEF. This agency was established on 11th of December 1946. It's trying its best for improving the health of children by providing them nutritious food. It's also aiming at improving the condition of the poor children by arranging food, clothes, and medicines. This agency's headquarters is at New York. D. World Health Organization WHO. This special agency was established on 7th of April 1948 with its headquarters at Geneva. Its aim is to provide medical facilities, thereby improving the general health condition of the people and helping them to come out freely from these health hazards. Major achievements of the UNO. The major achievements of the UNO are as follows. 1. It prevented the Third World War. Even when small wars broke after its establishment, it suppressed them, thereby preventing the Third World War. 2. Its agencies have propagated the disaster of war and the importance of peace. India in the UNO. D. Its aim and helping when small wars. 1. It prevented the Third World War. Even when small wars broke after its establishment, it suppressed them, thereby preventing the Third World War. 2. Its agencies have propagated the disaster of war and the importance of peace. Due to its agencies, the people have learned that wars create unnecessary chaos and peace promotes goodwill and prosperity in the country. 3. The agencies of the UN have worked hard to promote cooperation and friendly relations among the countries, thereby eliminating the ignorance, illiteracy, disease, and poverty. India in the UNO.